kald februarmorgen her på Sørlandet. Og klokka den 5:10, og hvor er det vi på vei hen, gutter? Italia! Hvor er det vi på vei igjen nå?
I dag går turen til Italia og til Beta, der vi skal på fabrikksøk. Så Motorsyklisten, som en stolt hovedsponsor av NESS, tar med gutta og crewet på tur til Italia.
Du, dere forhandler jo både Beta og Kjerko, men nå er det jo Beta vi skal ned og besøke. Og du har fikset et besøk til oss der nede. Så da blir vi tatt vel imot når vi kommer ned. Beta ligger i Firenze. Ja, stemmer det. Så vi flyr ned til Pisa nå og reiser opp til de. Og hva er det Beta tilbyr for noe?
Beta tilbyr jo, det er en motorsykkelprodusent som tilbyr trail, enduro og veisykler, med fokus på offroad-markedet da. Og det vi kommer til å oppleve nå, det er egentlig vi skal se hvordan de produserer syklen fra A til Å da.
Ja, det er ikke alle hemmeligheter vi får se.
Nei, vi får ikke sett alle hemmeligheter, men vi får sett noe i hvert fall. Og så blir vi jo tatt imot da vi skal ha den turen da, på fabrikken, og så blir det litt møte med de ansatte og sånne ting etterpå da. Beta har en veldig lang historie. De startet jo opp i 1905. Så de er et av Europas eldste motorsykkelprodusenter. Så vi har mye historie vi skal se på da, så det blir veldig spennende.
Ja, veldig kult. Nå er det kommet noen nye euro-krav da, som gjør at man ikke får hvite skilter på totaksyklene, er det sånn?
Ja, det stemmer det. Men der har Beta, de har jobbet hardt, og nå slipper de i mars, så kommer de med Euro 5 pluss syklene da. Både 4-takten og 2-takten, så alle syklene blir registreret.
Ok, fantastisk. Ja, det gjør meg glad. Da tror jeg skal ha ny sykkel snart. Og da blir det Beta, for det har jeg kjørt de siste årene, og det har vært veldig fornøyd med det.
Ja, så godt å høre.
Ja, men da stikker vi til Firenze da.
Yes.
Ses da.
Ciao.
Hei!
Markemann!
Mamma mia, Coca-Cola, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Vi kom hit rett ut forbi Firenze til Beta sin motorsykkelfabrikk. Det er fremdeles februar, men det er i hvert fall 10 grader varmere enn det vi reiste ifra. Og det er fredag ettermiddag, det er høyt tempo her inne, men vi må inn og ta en titt og besøke fabrikken når vi er her. Bli med! Ja, vi kom vist en time for tidlig, så vi får gå og ta en kopp kaffe, og så kommer vi tilbake igjen. Okay, so we're standing here with Niccolò and also Marlon and Stefano from Beta. They're taking the time to show us around the factory. There's a lot of factory secrets we can't see, but there's quite a few things around here we can see.
So first of all, thank you for coming here to visit Beta, the headquarters of Betamotor. In this area we have a short, in a nutshell, the story of Beta, the brand, since the early beginning. So the company was born in 1905, making a bicycle. So it's a quite common story in the industrial experience in Italy. And then after the Second World War, we started to develop mopeds. This is the first mopeds. So we put, with a sort of Italian creativity, we put a small engine on a bicycle. And so this is the Cervo 48, the first moped we built. And then little by little, we started to develop a range of products for the developing uses. I mean, at the beginning, our products were focused on road use, so small bikes, road bikes. But since the beginning, as you can see in the picture, the DNA of the brand was very well connected to the races. So road races at that time, like uphill races or Giro d'Italia at the time in motorbikes and things like this. So this is the early beginning of the Beta. Later on, and I pass the microphone to my colleague.
Yeah, we moved to the off-road sector when in Italy arrived the competition of the Japanese companies. We are in the middle of the 90s, so at that time we decided to move to the off-road bikes because, as I said, the competition was very tough in the road sector. So we decided to build for the first time MX bike, Enduro bike, and then in the 80s we arrived to produce also the trial bike, making a step backward in at the end of the 70s, we made the first trial bike that was a 50cc bike. And before, we have to speak about just a moment about the first engine we entirely built in Beta. That was a 50cc.
The first bikes, is it?
No, these are not the first bike. These are very important bikes for example, for the engine or for a special project such as the Dakar in Peru. But they are not the first bike for every sector. For the off-road sector, a very important moment in the history of the company was when, in the 1980, more or less, here in Italy, we had a crisis in the steel production and in the other material production, so the cost increased a lot. And then we decided to reduce the production, also because the competition of the Japanese companies arrived also in the off-road sector. Yeah. So it was tough another time for the company. So we decided to reduce the production only for trial bike. Yeah. In this period, we export a lot of trial bike, for example, in Japan, but the company was very little in this moment. And after this period, we decided to expand the production step by step. When arrived for the first time the Enduro bike with the KTM engine.
Yeah, correct.
And from this point on, we start the production of the engine internally in new time, and step by step arrived a new model in the MX sector, the Enduro sector, trial, and so on. Yeah. And then we arrived to the modern model we have now.
All right, Stefano, so we're standing outside your headquarters here. Would you tell us a bit about your premises here? What do you have here? I saw you had a test track behind here and so on. Could Could you tell us a bit about that?
See, yes, yes, for sure. We have a truck inside the factory. It's clearly it's quite small. It's only designed for small testing, so small in terms of trials, a bit of enduro and a bit of cross, but it's very, very small. Clearly now, due to the fact we are selling bikes in almost every country when there is an off-road practice, clearly the bikes now are tested a bit everywhere. Yeah. So also at the different altitude to stress more every capacity or every application, every bikes. So clearly a small part of tests are made here. I would also mention not only let's say the area, the track inside the factory, but also the big investment we did in the last few years in terms of bench room for testing bikes. Completed bikes, engines, and so forth, because clearly part of the test is the reliability, consumption, things like this, and this kind of things must be made obviously on bench test.
Absolutely, and there's all the Euro requirements and the homologation
That's
requirements
right,
in
perfect.
Enduro and so on.
Unfortunately, also this is a part of a very, let's say, painful story, because clearly, but it's correct, there is every year or a couple of years there are more requirements in terms of homologation, and clearly now the factory is well structured with our colleague to manage to meet the requirement from European
requirements and so
requirement.
on. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and Stefano, we also been seeing, like, the last couple of years, there's been some motocross bikes coming up, and we saw, I think it was a 4-stroke bike first in the United States.
Yeah.
Now it's a 300 3-stroke coming up. I know people are very enthusiastic about the bikes. I think in Motorsyklisten they will have a bike also for display there, at least I hope. Yeah, they have one. And so could you tell us about the motocross
I would
coming?
prefer to give the floor to Niccolò about motocross.
As a racing enthusiast, as I am.
You are.
Yeah, the motocross bike is a very good project. As you know, we started the races with the MX bike 4 years ago, and then we developed the bike with our motocross team. And the production started with the 300cc 2-stroke, as you know, and then we moved to the 4-stroke. Now you know we have these two models, but the range will be increased in terms of capacity of the engine. The 4-stroke bike is a bike thinked only for motocross, so it's not an enduro bike with something different. It's a special project for the MX activity, and the engine is very good in the power delivery. So it's not the horsepower the most important thing of the bike, but it's the handling of the bike. So we have from this year a new frame with the main part near the handlebar that increased 1 centimeter, and so this frame is very good to control the bike both on the ground and while you are in air during the jump. And in developing the bike, we added some special things for motocross riding activity. For example, the rear axle on the back part is increased from the first model to the current one, because when you open the gas, the torsion activity is very strong with a very powerful engine. So we increased all the stressed part, starting from the frame to the rear axle, the back little frame, and so on. What else? who tested the bike said that it is a very good bike, as I told before, also for amateur, because it's very good, as I already said, but it's important to tell it another time, on the power delivery, because if you have horsepower, but the bike is not good to push the gas on the ground, power delivery, the horsepower is not important. So you have to use this power
get it
with
down
the gas.
in the ground,
Exactly.
yeah.
So this is the most important thing on our bike. That is the same thing you can find on all the other models. Also, the enduro bike are thinking with the same way of thinking. In beta, we call this kind of capacity rideability. The rideability is the ability of the bike to put the rider in the condition to give its better when he's riding the bike. So this is our way to think about motocross, enduro, and also trial bike.
Absolutely. What I noticed is you can drive the betas at a really low RPM without stalling them. And that's when I try another bike, then often I stall when I try to drive it.
The torque is a good thing on our bike.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and last question, will there be a full-size electric bike anytime?
Oh.
It's a key question for every manufacturer at the moment.
But you have a children's electric.
But for sure we are investigating like other brands. We are investigating the let's say the segment, not with a let's say a timeline defined, but our R&D colleagues are working on the segment to see what we can do. So for the moment, I think it's quite early for. It's early also for the cars, at least for a part of Europe. I know in Norway it's quite different. It's quite different, or in Sweden, for example. For sure, we are going on, but at the moment anything is defined, because clearly the key topics is to provide a product with similar feature, but with the same price of a normal engine. So at the moment there are no the condition to offer this kind of product.
No. So this is to be continued, and we'll see in the future.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
I think it's very nice for the Norwegian audience to get to know Beta a bit more. Get to meet the people here. See the premises like this and so on. I think it's very good to connect also with the customer group.
See, it's our company is a special company in the sense because we are quite compact, considered the big competitor we have in the market. So we are really proud of our brand. Basically, all people we have a small staff, but we are. A majority of us is very, let's say, focused on passionate about, in general, bikes and in particular off-road. So this is our DNA, let's say.
And that's part of the Italian DNA also, the passion and the racing passion in the blood.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Okay, very good.
Thank you.